So for her jumper, we're going to use the blue-greens today, and I'm going to use BG 13, 11, and 10, and I'm going to start with BG 13, and I'm going to add where I want it to be shadowed. So it's going to be shadowed right up here underneath of her chin, so I'm just give it a little tap right there along the edge of her little overall straps, and then I want it to be shadowed on the side of her body, and then her knee's going to cast a shadow, so I'm going to go right along the top of her knee. Same with this side, down this side of her body. And then I'm going to make the bottoms of these cute little ruffled pants have a little bit of shadow. And her knee right over here just a little bit. And then these little wrinkles, I'm going to get those. And how about these little wrinkles? And then I'm going to go in with BG 11. Kind of brushing over all of my BG 13 a little bit. And then I'm going to fill it in with BG 11, or sorry, BG 10. And again, I brush right over the color I already just laid down on the edge. And just kind of pull it out there in the middle, or towards the part I'm going to be coloring. Okay, and then I'm going to start over with BG 13. BG 11. We'll just darken up her coveralls here a little bit. Soften my lines. And then I'm going to go over the whole thing with BG 10. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's now do her shirt, and for her shirt we're going to use Y26, 23, and 21. And I'm going to start with Y26. And I'm going to lay that down where I want it to be the darkest. So I want it to be darkest right along her little coveralls. So I'm just going to give it a little line down the side, and then she's got a couple of little creases in her shirt. I'm going to color those. Same with this side. and get those little creases. And then for her top right here, I'm just going to get the sides where the little coverall straps are touching her shirt. And then I'm going to switch to Y23 and brush over the top of my 26. Pull it out into your white space and soften the edge of the line. Go over your little creases. And we're going to fill it in with Y21. And then for her socks, we're going to use C0 to add just a little bit of shadow to her socks. So I'm just going to grab a little bit right here on the edges of her shoe. Maybe run just a little line right here where these little wrinkles are in her sock. And so that is our cute Birgitta. She's all colored up. And for her outfit, I went ahead and used my white Sharpie paint pen to add some dots. So I just took my white Sharpie paint pen and I just went along and added my dots wherever I wanted them to be. You could also do your Copic colorless blender pen to add a few dots on there. It's just going to be a lot more subtle than the paint pen. It won't show up quite as bright as this white paint pen is. Let's see how the paint pen just kind of adds a little bit of texture to her little outfit. But you could also take your white color or your colorless blender and take it and just go along and make little dots. Just kind of touch the paper just barely. And it pushes the color away from your spot that you've dotted onto the paper. But it's just very subtle. So if you wanted it to be darker with your colorless blender, you'd have to go probably back over with your dots. So that's why I used the white paint pen. It was just a lot easier. Alright, so now let's work on our bench. Okay, so I started with E37 and I just went along and decided where it was going to be the darkest. Like all these little lines on the stool, I went ahead and just quickly went over those. And it's wood, so you don't have to be precise. And I wanted it to be darker where the stool top is sitting on the legs. It's going to cast a shadow down there, so I went ahead and added a shadow on the bottom. And then I went ahead too and added one just at the bottom of the bench. Like that. And then I went in with E35 and did the same thing. So let's just do maybe over the top of these a little bit to soften them. And then let's just add a few down here onto the legs. So I'm just going to take my pen and just like I did with the hair, flick a few places up. Maybe add a few across the side here. Like that. And then let's add E33 next. So again, just go over maybe some of the spaces you already put in, your little dashes and lines. Add a few more in there. And then E31's our last one. So I'm going to go over the whole bench with the E31 so I fill in all of my space. I think I want to add a few more streaks, so I'm going to go with E35, and I'm going to add a little bit more streaks down here on the legs. And then I'm going to add some darker streaks with the E37. And I don't have any rhyme or reason. I'm just adding some, it's wood, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I'm going to just soften it just a little bit with E33. So I'm just going to go over some of those dashed lines that I just laid down, just to soften them just a little bit. Just like that. So now let's do, how about the butterfly? So for the butterfly, I used Y21, Y2, and Y000. So I started with Y21, and I just gave it a little bit of color right here in the very bottom of his wings where it's touching his little body. Like that. And then I went with Y02, and I started down here at his body again and just flicked up just a little bit past the Y21. And then I'm going to fill it in with Y000. And then I want the contrast to be a little bit darker at the middle again, so I'm going to go back to my Y21 and just flick a little bit up from his body again and give his wings at the base a little bit more contrast. Okay, next let's work on the grass. And for the grass I used G24 and G82. So I'm going to start with G94, and I'm going to add that where I want to have my dark streak. So I'm just going to pick a few of these grass blades and just give them a quick swipe. I'm going to color this one right here all the way in because I colored it brown to match the bench. So we'll just color it green now, make it a little bit darker. And then I think I'll maybe give a few little swipes maybe underneath of my bench legs like this. And then I'm going to go in with G82 and add a few more lighter blades of grass. And you don't have to color just exactly on the grass. You could add a few streaks of your own. So let's say you wanted some right in here. Just give it a quick little flick of your pen and add a couple of little blades right in there. Just depends on what you're looking for. And I also want to get down here at the bottom again underneath my posts. So I'm just going to go like that. And I think I'll add a few more dark areas with G94 again. So I'm just going to darken it up right underneath where the stool is sitting. Maybe bring a couple more down in here like this. Maybe give my grass I added here maybe a couple little flecks of the dark grass. So that finishes up our grass. So we've got our grass and our bench, and we've got our girl. So I went ahead and I cut the girl out on my card. She's cut out, and I popped her up on some pop dots, and then I placed her on top of the bench piece that came in your kit. And then again, this whole mat piece is popped up off of the card that she's sitting on. And I love this new Whimsy picket fence die. It's got a cute little birdhouse right here and a little bird sitting on it. Looks really cute. But to use it on the other side, if you didn't want, it actually goes underneath here so you can't see the bird. But you could, if she was slid over a little bit more, I would just cut those off so you only have one on there. But that's totally up to you. But I also did some clouds on my little piece with the bench on it. So let me get that. So for that, I'm going to use my nonstick craft mat that I've got right here. And then I have my little cloud template that I made, and you can download this over on the blog. So you can print one out, cut it out, and use it too. And I also have my Tumble Glass Ranger Distress Ink and a sponge dauber. And so for my bench, I just decide where I want my clouds to sort of start, and I set my cloud template down on top of it, and the bench is covers just up the bottom of the bench, or the top of the bench, and I pounce my sponge dauber into my ink pad, and then I start by my sponge dauber on top of the template and just press out away from my cloud template that's on my paper. Like that. And there you've got a little bit of clouds there, and then I'll move my cloud template. Let's say I want to put it over this way onto my, and I just work my way up, and again I start on top of my template, and I just start brushing my ink like that. And see how the clouds are appearing? And again, you'll move your template, lay it down, put your sponge dauber on top of it, and you just keep fiddling with it until you get the clouds the way you want. And there I've got quite an assortment of clouds there. And then when I get down here, I don't worry about the clouds, but I just take my sponge dauber and I kind of start swirling it over here on my nonstick craft mat so it uses some of the ink up, and then I just kind of bring it in here and brush it onto my piece and add some blue down here towards the bottom so that it doesn't look completely white. Just like that. And then I cut my girl out and I set her on here and she's good to go. So this is our June Copic Coloring Card Kit of the month. So if you want to go over to Heather's Hobby Haven and pick that up, head over there, pick one up, and you can color right along with me. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.